Hi Taurus, this is your September 2021 tarot reading. Before we look at these cards together, let's see what is going on initially. There seems to have been mid-August to late August before getting into the month, a sudden swift kind of change of plans. It looked like it was around people that you're friends with, that you love, family members, siblings, just people that you hang out with and really wanted to see. I think a lot of opportunities did come up in late August for you to hang out with people that you really treasure. You may have been able to let your hair down, start having a good time, start kind of socializing a bit more. You may have had some celebrations to attend to, but really your priorities shifted in late August, Taurus. You kind of said to yourself, you know what, life is for living, life is for celebrating, rejoicing, having a good time. And you said, for the rest of September, I just want to make my priorities, you want to make them for those you love. You want to spend time with those you love. You want to strengthen and deepen the connections you already have with people in your life. For some of you, you may have met new friends at the end of August due to a sudden change of plans or some sort of maybe even unsettling, having to go, having to stay. There could have been a lot of travel in late August, but in overall the travel that you had to do, albeit kind of tiring, exhaustive, busy, it really put you in touch or in close contact with people that you love, people that you wanted to see for a while. So overall, any of this exhausting travel, it may seem, has been emotionally rewarding for you. You feel closer to people in your life now. You feel like you've enjoyed yourself. You kind of feel rejuvenated, like you've had a lot of good days recently in late August where you've just been surrounded by people you love. Maybe even the drinks have been flowing, the wine has been flowing, the conversation and the laughs have been also flowing. That's really nice. We're going to clear it up and see what else is coming through for it though. So then, right, okay, so September seems to be a month of pretty serious decisions being made, but also very final decisions. There's a lot of finality in the month of September, Taurus, and we will clear it up. But it seems like people that are involved at this time with anything embroiled with a boss, embroiled with something legal or medical, you're really going to get some sort of a change on this, to say the least. If you have been entangled with anybody that you feel you need to get away from, and you feel like you're even maybe praying to get away from, for some, I'm picking up, Taurus, that some of you are really hoping that you're praying, you're saying, when you wake up in the morning, you're saying, you're putting it out there, I really hope that I don't have to stick around in this situation for much longer. I hope that it eases off. I hope that there's a change in some way. Things have been changing and maybe have been unsettling, but what I think really has happened with all these kind of these are a little bit more dramatic sword energies, they can feel like. So I think with all of that that's been happening for you, all of this movement, all of this sword energy where you've had to make decisions, but you've really had to think things through. You actually have had to kind of seek advice or legal aid or even medical attention for certain things. And I think that could even continue in September. But something's going to change, and you've been praying for this. You've been really manifesting this, Taurus. You're like, if I'd have an angel out there, seriously, I feel like some of you are saying things like that. I think that there was a professional in a very esteemed position, like a doctor, like a lawyer, like what else? Like somebody religious even, but somebody who had a very esteemed profession. You've been dealing with them or will be dealing with them in the month of September in a bigger way. I think we'll just have to wait and clear that up. But at the end of the month then we have Page of Swords, so some information coming in which leads you to weighing up your options, to leads you to making a decision. And the decision is to progress forward and see what else you can do with basically this idea you've had. You've had an idea now by this point, and it's how you plan on moving it forward. Really all depends on what you kind of decide on as you're weighing things up, and it also very much depends on certain information coming your way. So I guess we'll have to watch this space for now, see what kind of info is coming through. We can ask the cards. I think we should look at these cards together, Taurus. Taurus, before pulling more cards, I'm going to just pull an oracle card, and let's take this as a message from your highest, most compassionate self to you now about the phase of the journey you're on. Okay. You've got Sleeping Sister Willow. I'm going to read you from the oracle now what this says, and then we'll move on and pull cards. Ooh, I opened it on the page. I love when that happens. I hope this is in alignment now for some Taurus listening. Sweeping Sister Willow gently brings you healing for forgiveness and the release of old pain now. Let her branches gracefully sweep any sadness and pain from your heart and soul. It is time for greater inner freedom is dawning, and the cleansing sadness and healing of forgiveness is the pathway to that greater freedom now. You deserve this freedom. You are swiftly become ready to gift it to yourself with the help of Kuan Yin. Yes, you see, because this is the forgiving energy flowing. Ace of Cups, Three of Cups, that's free flowing forgiveness, moving on. Six of Swords, in a really big way where you feel reborn now that you've made the decision to forgive. People often kind of can think of forgiveness as being vulnerable or being a pushover, showing weakness. It's actually a really empowering and powerful thing to be able to do, because exactly like this oracle said, it really frees you up and liberates you. And this was very much like almost like reborn energy here. If you can do this, Taurus, if you can do the forgiving and letting go of sadness, I really do think you'll feel liberated and so excited for whatever the next chapter in your life brings. Look at that scenery. Could be to somewhere really beautiful. Okay, so at the moment we need to look at this oracle a little bit further. It says forgiveness is a way to raise your vibration by shedding old energies that drain you and prevent you from having all your power available to you now. Yeah, like you need that power for yourself, right, Taurus? Like, what's the point in wasting that energy on other people that probably don't deserve it? If you take that power back and all that energy and focus wasted on like dwelling in sadness, dwelling in resentment and bitterness or anger and not being able to forgive and holding grudges, like such a waste of your divine energy. Think of how much you could flourish without that holding you down. So now it is a chance to free yourself from suffering and empower yourself. Sweeping Sister Willow guides you to forgive others and yourself abundantly and freely now. Exactly, you got to even forgive yourself, of course. And you know what? You really do have to forgive yourself. I feel like some sort of information might even come through for you in September. All through September you might be hearing news, but it's helping you move on, and decisions are made, and like things are out of your control even, but it's just giving you more help and aid to move on. Okay, so let's take it back with the tarot now. Let's pull some cards for Knight of Swords, Ace of Cups, and Three of Cups to see what's coming through for you, Taurus. Ace of Swords, so two kind of ace cards in the last month of, or the last couple of the week or two of August, so Ace of Swords came through with the Devil energy. That's seeing through the bullshit of something, at least, very much cutting through the Devil card energy of what it was that you weren't able to free yourself from. So you got some information or insight into the fact, like you kind of, look, we have Seven of Cups even at the bottom of the deck. You hadn't been seeing something clearly, like in the Seven of Cups. There was a lot of fog there, a lot of mess, a lot of emotional, a lot of drain, a lot of not knowing what was going on, but emotions were running high, and you might have even been basing some decisions of yours that were important based off like an emotional response. But the Ace of Swords kind of sliced through that brain fog and kind of maybe even severed this tie that is here in the Devil card, chaining you to something that really was draining your power. And we now know from our oracle card what the drain on your personal power is, Taurus. The devil card basically is something that keeps us chained to our circumstances. It keeps us in this energy of being not having autonomy over ourselves, feeling like we're powerless to something else, feeling that oppression maybe even, and you really want to rise above and triumph over these feelings of oppression. It could even be like chained to a debt, it could be a vice, but you want to overcome that. You could feel oppressed in society. But overall in August, you saw a way free of that, and a new direction for you, I think, is underway. A new direction coming up in the month of September. Let's clear it up. But you do get some sort of an opportunity to revisit something in September in a big way. Could be based off a decision with somebody else. Doesn't have to be an Aquarian. But I do get air sign energy like Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini in this reading. Okay, so let me see. Let's clear up the Six of Swords, the Judgment card, and the King of Swords for Taurus. The Ten of Wands in reverse. The Nine of Cups in reverse. You might have to take it easy in the month of September, Taurus. I feel like your energy could run low. It looks like you have a lot of work carved out, or like you feel at least that you have a lot to do or undertake this month. I see that you feel like there's a need to keep many people happy at this time, especially in the home and living situation. It looks like you're trying to keep everyone at home, all members of the family happy. You could be the head of the family, or you could be like be the more dominant person maybe in the household, and even if it's just roommates you live with, see what you think of that. Sometimes, Taurus, you put yourself in situations where you can be taken advantage of, and it's sort of linked to a lack of self-confidence in yourself, and you sometimes feel like you really need to prove yourself to people, especially to people that you deem sort of like intellectual in your life or expert or kind of esteemed. You kind of don't always see that people maybe put things on you too heavy loads to bear, too burdensome. It's actually taking advantage, because it's sort of, they may even be aware when the Ten of Wands reverses that this is too much to ask of somebody, and it's too much of a boundary being crossed. And this is kind of coming from a lack of self-esteem on your part. The Nine of Cups upright, oh, we've got it all, we're so content, or we almost have it all, we think everything is perfect, and we even can be smug about things. When it reverses, it sort of feels like not thinking that you are good enough, not thinking that you deserve what you have. Okay, so the decisions that or the kind of energy of something changing, or something kind of being a rebirth energy, I really do think it's from like letting go. If you're able to forgive and move on, like these chains are going to fall right off in the Devil in reverse. You'll realize that you don't need to prove yourself to people. You realize you can do things at your own pace, and that you're good enough, and that you can, and that you're worthy enough. But the decision that kind of comes up for around this kind of like being reborn, I think it's linked to the Oracle of Forgiveness, and also I just think it's linked to a decision that is made, or like you could become very clear that this can't go on. The Ten of Wands in reverse and Nine of Cups in reverse being taken advantage of, or just like people not caring about your boundaries and dumping on you. Page of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and Two of Wands. Let's see what's coming up around the end of the month. So around the end of this September, it looks like information comes through that requires you to weigh things up and then make a decision based on that. Five of Swords in reverse, and the Page of Cups in reverse. It's going to come around quite randomly and suddenly, and you're going to have to take people into consideration. They could be younger than you, people like that you kind of care for even, but it's not working out with these people anymore. So you kind of have to weigh up a few factors now when you're making decisions up. These people seem to have been kind of cutthroat. These people seem to have been immature. Maybe that's all it was. They didn't know what they were doing. They were young, but if they were just like people that were immature and they took advantage of you emotionally, even possibly Five of Swords in reverse, like you were tricked, you were hoodwinked, like these people here in the cards. But you're beginning to work on those kind of wounds that you have, Taurus, and that's down to forgiveness too. So maybe these are the people that you need to forgive, these people in the Five of Swords. Maybe you've all played roles here in this entanglement that haven't been really fully above board, but maybe it's the best thing to do is just kind of let it go. Page of Cups in reverse is kind of telling me that you kind of make a decision to move on, to hopefully turn things around. Page of Cups can be very forgiving, but they're both in reverse, these cards. So it could be kind of telling me that you're not fully ready to let go of something. But it does seem like when you do, a Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck and the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck, a really new, successful and advantageous life cycle can begin for you. Okay, Taurus, that is going to be your September 2021 reading. If you're interested in your personal astrology for the month of September, go over to the video called Virgo Season All Signs, and it's going to be astrology read from the rising sign position. So if you know your rising sign, go over and check that video out now. And if you don't, it's really easy to find online. You can just type Find My Rising Sign into your search engine that you use and follow the step-by-step guide. Have a great month in September, Taurus. I'll be back mid-month with the love and relationship reading for your sign. Until then, bye.